Good day, my name is Matt. Welcome to my channel. Let's get going. At the end of our last adventure, if you were following along, we had only two members of our original party left: Hal, the elven magic user, and Joe, the human bard. They were joined by Brave Halfling. I called him the entire season. He is now officially part of the group. It's a halfling fighter named Salmon. Took a few moments and rolled him up so that we were ready with at least almost a full party. I am an old stickler, or a stickler to the old ways, and that I like to have 4 people in my party. I don't know, it's just a number I like, I guess. If you were paying attention at the end of the last season, our group got an amazing amount of experience from killing the trolls. We also got a disgustingly huge amount of treasure and gold. All told, we ended up with about 6,300 gold pieces worth of gold or treasure. The party has opted to donate a good amount of that. I ended up saying a little more than 3,000 gold to the town to sort of offset the losses that they incurred because of the adventure. What that left my guys with, Sam got some of the experience as well as some of the treasure. He ended up with 1,100 gold. Hal ended up with a little more than that, as did Joseph a little bit as well. They also got a little bit of treasure. The magic user ended up keeping the potion of speed. The other magic item was a shield +2 versus cold, and I've opted to donate that to the town primarily because my halfling could not use it. It's a large shield, as well as my bard typically uses his short bow frequently, and it just felt wrong to have him carrying around a large shield. So they're going to donate that to the village as well. And the village, I don't know, sell it off. Maybe they'll give it to the dwarves at the Stone Axe Citadel. We'll see. So I've decided that following our adventure, the group would basically hang out, relax, recuperate, get all their hit points back. And I took that time to actually make a couple of them second level. Actually, Joseph is the only one that went to second level. The magic user is still about 1,000 away from the going to second level magic user, and the halfling fighter is still only first level as well. So hopefully soon, another adventure or two, we'll get the rest of the party up to 2. In the meantime, the party is going to relax at Burrowmore and decide what they want to do next. Offline, I have been working on a zine style form supplement, I guess you would say, for the setting that is originally in this book. This is the map I drew for it. Eventually this will be available on my blog when I get it to a point that I'm happy with. I think I have about 10 different locations, including the personalities that might be found there. And you can actually get a quick peek of it here. You can see the map, different places, and the artwork that's included. So anyway, that will be coming shortly. But I wanted to have something a little bit fleshed out. I actually reached out to James. James said I could do what I want and go wild, I think was his actual terms. What he actually said. So let's start there. So after about a week or 2 of sitting in town, relaxing, I am assuming that, like before, we had rented a halfling home, whatever you want to call it, a hobbit hole. You know, they're adventures. They're going to get a little bit of ants in their pants, for lack of a better term. They are going to suddenly have a sense that they need to go do something more. And so in the course of hanging out, in this town, there is a tavern that is right here, which is called the Keg and Calabash. That's actually written up there. Right there is the little patron. Well, he's a little chubby dude. His name is Fortinbras Sternwise, and hanging out here, obviously, if you've ever read Lord of the Rings or seen the movies, you know, halflings / hobbits, whatever you want to call them, community and eating and get-togethers, those are kind of a tenet of their community. So this place is no different, and the Keg and Calabash has become a sort of heartbeat of the town. And there's actually a beer garden right outside, and if there's not enough room there, they've actually added a nice floating deck, if you will, that actually goes out over the water. And typically they will have a bard or musician will perform here, you know, to kind of have a nice little community evening entertainment while everybody gets sloshed on cider and mead and ale and wines. The town actually has a cidery / vineyard, and they make their own stuff here in town. So there's plenty of stuff. The town actually, well, here I'm going on a little sidebar, but the town actually does a really good business. Twice a year they take a caravan to the Stone Axe Citadel, where they trade goods from this town with the dwarves of Stone Axe Citadel, and then vice versa. Twice a year, that with their different, it's actually timed to the harvest and the time when the different brews are done and ready to be sold. So anyway, during the time that they've been hanging out here in town, they have, of course, heard rumors of things that are going on around this place. So I'm going to do one thing really quick. Pardon my dog. I don't know if you could hear that or not, but my dog liked to bark. So one of the things that I've been using is this fantastic book. And as I said in my last video, I'm going to use some things from it in the course of this, but I am going back to my Oracle. If you don't remember how my Oracle works, I have two very, very popular videos on my channel about my Oracle. So if you don't know how to, or if you want to understand more about my Oracle, you can go watch that if you'd like. But one of the things that I really like that they have in Mythic is the process where you test what you're expecting. So me as a player, me as a DM, I am kind of expecting a certain thing to happen next. And the certain thing would be that I'm thinking would happen next is my party is getting a little bit of cabin fever, and they are planning their next whatever it is, whatever they're going to go do. So I am expecting the next scene in my little adventure to be that. And what Mythic has is it has this great feature. Let me see if I can find it really quick. I always seem to struggle finding the tables in here very quickly. There we go. All right. So the way it works is you have in Mythic what's called a chaos factor. And that kind of sets the tone for how much the players are in control. So I am going to say right now that the players are very much in control of the situation. They've been chilling out in town. I'm going to set the chaos factor at, say, 6. So I'm just going to put that right here. Actually, I should use something bigger than that in case it goes up or down, eh? We'll make it a 60. Imagine that zero's not there, okay? So the way it works is you want to roll the chaos, you want to roll over the chaos factor, which means the players, what you're expecting to happen happens. You can see it right here. Roll over the chaos factor, the expected scene happens. If you roll below that, then it gives you something else that happens, and then you can adjust the scene based on what happens and what the dice are telling you. So that's kind of what I'm going to go with right now. My expected scene, as I said, is they are planning and getting ready to go on an adventure. I don't know what that adventure is yet, but we'll see. And I rolled exactly, which means I did not make it because you want to roll over that. So then what you do is you look at the roll even. Obviously, I rolled a 6 even number under the chaos factor. That means it's an interrupted scene. That means something happens that causes the scene that I was expecting not to happen. So the next thing you need to do, and you don't have to do it this way, if you say inspiration hits you and you're like, an interrupt scene. Oh, I have a great idea. Then roll with it. Well, I'll save that for another discussion. So then what you want to do is you want to roll here. It's like I have a lot of thoughts going on in my head. So I'm battling not talking about them. It'll be another interlude video that I'll have to make soon. Anywho, then what you're going to do is you're going to roll here because I don't know what that interrupt scene could be. Oh, remove a character. Uh-oh. And what that usually means is you want to look at your characters. Something happens with your characters. Let's you know what? I can get rid of this really quick. So something happens that causes us not to go on our adventure. So I had a moment of inspiration there, and it got me thinking, what would be an interrupt scene? And I'm going to interpret that role, which if you remember was remove a character. Now, rather than just simply saying, okay, that character's gone from the adventure, I'm going to use this as a catalyst for an idea that popped in my head. Something is going on with one of our characters that will cause them to not go on their adventure, whatever they were planning. And the first idea that popped into my head, OCD, sorry, I gotta fix that. It was on something else. Yes, that's, can you see that stuff up there? Oh yeah, you can, good. Sorry to check my camera. OCD, sorry, squirrel. Where was I? Oh yeah, so because these two are not from this town, but Sam is, it got me an idea. What if we didn't go on our adventure because something happened with Sam's family that lives in Burrowmore that caused us to not go on our adventure, right? So what could that be? The first thing that popped in my head was something's up with one of his family members. And I immediately thought younger sister, because I believe we're heroes and there's nothing more heroic than saving the poor maiden, at least, historically. So that's what I'm thinking right at the moment is something is going on with Sam's younger sister, which I'm going to write that down right here just so that I can remember this later. Then I'm going to start using my oracle because, well, I like my oracle. All right, so I'm going to say, and if you, a real quick overview of my oracle. Whoops, I got to put them up here, don't I? Because otherwise you can't see them. Let's move some stuff up here. So my oracle is blue is yes, red is no. This is my slider die. Highest die determines the answer to my question, and you always want to ask in a yes or no type format for your question. If I think it is more likely going to be a yes, say the situation is, the chances that you're going to be successful are more on the yes side, right? What I do is I slide this. So either if either of these dice are greater than that one, the answer is yes. If I think it's more likely that the answer is going to be no, if either of those ends up being the highest die, then the answer is no. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. So what I will typically do in the course of this adventure is I will usually lay out my dice. This is just visually for you guys. And I will take this die and slide the probability. That's what I call that, the probability die or slider die. I will slide the probability die in the direction of which I think probability is on the side of. So I think my question is going to be, is his sister missing? And being that we live in the wilderness surrounded by bad, evil things, including lizardmen from the swamps, probably bandits from the road that goes out of town, I think that is probably a yes. So we're going to roll here. Is his sister missing? And I got 2 6s. Oh wait, that's no. I gotta pay attention to what I'm doing. I got a tie, basically. I got the slider die was a 6 and the no is a 6. That means no. She's not missing. Is she in trouble? I think I'm going to roll straight on this one. In other words, I think it's a 50-50 chance. That's why I'm not using this die. Whoa. Sorry, rolls have to happen in here. It's an old school rule. That is a yes. So she is in trouble, but we don't know what exactly. Let's see. Oh, here we go. And this is a lot of my game, is just strictly improv, inspiration, and rolling with it. Sam's younger sister, and one thing I will encourage you. Sorry, my mind is 2 steps ahead of where my mouth is. One thing I would encourage you is that if inspiration hits, don't keep rolling. Stick with whatever your inspiration hits, because if you were running a game as a GM or DM for players, and players did something crazy that you weren't expecting, would you say, no, you got to stick with what the book says, or would you roll with it? In my games, I roll with it because, well, I want it to be exciting, entertaining, and I want it to be interactive with the players. So when you're playing solo, I think you need to do the same thing. So my idea is that, and I'm going to trump something I just rolled a minute ago because the idea just hit me. So Sam's younger sister, we'll get her name here in a little bit, was inspired by Sam going out and being brave and helping defeat the trolls. His younger sister, who's not going to be too much younger, but a little bit, got inspired by Sam, hooked up with a group of adventurers that happened to be in town, and they went out on an adventure, and they didn't come back. And I already know where they went. There's a certain place on my map when I started putting it together that I immediately thought sounds like a good place to go adventure. This is the ruins of St. Albinus. A long time ago, I don't know very much details on it yet. We're just going to wing it. There is a ruin here that used to be a temple. I don't know what exactly it's for. I'm sort of leaning on some sort of water goddess or something like that. But it was ruined. Who knows why it was destroyed? I don't know. But the rumor is that it's haunted. And in my document that I'm putting together, let's go ahead and throw it up here. All right, the Temple of St. Albinus. Let's see. Original purpose unknown, long destroyed before the establishment of Burrowmore. The name derives from a halfling mystic who secluded himself on the island in an attempt to commune with the water spirits of the lake. While no one knows what happened, the story goes that the villagers were awakened one night hearing screams coming from the island and saw dozens of small but bright lights. Sorry, my dog is walking around on the hardwood floor making lots of noise. They saw a bunch of bright lights. To this day, on the third Wednesday of each month, faint lights hazily float around the island. No one knows why, but all but the most foolish keep their distance from the island. And one of the hooks, actually, I was thinking of rolling here, is that an old geezer at the keg tells a story about spotting a trap door in the floor of the Temple of St. Albinus. Claims he saw it open once on the third Wednesday of the month, but when he went back later, the door was closed. So, feeding off my own hook, I am going to say that Sam's younger sister, excited by the idea of being an adventurer like her big brother, hooked up with a couple other adventurers, and they decided that they were going to test out or explore the haunted ruins of the Temple of St. Albinus. And maybe they left a couple days ago. We can roll that real quick. How many days ago did they leave? 4 days ago they left. Now people are starting to freak out. Sam's mom has pleaded with him to go investigate. Hope that whets your appetite, and I'll see you soon with episode 2.